Dental Fuel, the podcast that focuses on what no one else is talking about: mistakes. The dental world is full of before and afters, and no one is talking about the middle. Dental Fuel brings you the unspoken in between. In today's episode, we have Dr. Pamela Maragliano Muniz. We hope that you have enjoyed our conversation with Dr. Pamela Maragliano Muniz. To close out our series, Dr. Pamela shares some expert advice that she'd like all dentists to know. You know, I've really enjoyed hearing about your story and a little bit about yourself, and you've shared so much advice already. But if you could share some lasting advice with our listeners, what is that last piece of advice that you hope that our listeners will take home with them?
I would say, because I'm assuming mostly you guys are young in your career.
We have listeners from all walks of life, but yes, some younger dentists are definitely listening in.
All right. I like it. I mean, and honestly, I still take this advice to this day. So find deficiencies and then immerse yourself in the education or whatever the skill building that it's going to take to grow. You know, I feel like, gosh, I graduated dental hygiene school 25 years ago. I graduated pros, I don't know, like 15 or 16 years ago. And you never stop growing and you never stop learning. And so as soon as you do, I think that's when things get boring and stagnant, and technology is always going to be changing. So the opportunities are there to continue to grow. So whether it's your business, your clinical skills, your leadership skills, I mean, whatever it is, just never stop growing and always just stay in love with dentistry and why you got into it. And I think that that'll just serve you to just, be like David Rice. We all want to grow up and be like him when we get old.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the only way to do that is to just keep growing and be open to it.
Well, I would, I'll beg to differ a little bit. I would say that we want to grow up and be like y'all. Both of y'all are powerhouses, as I mentioned at the beginning. But I guess this would be a great time to plug y'all's podcast as well, too. Y'all are doing a great job with that. It's well produced, and the topics that you all are talking about, I think it is excellent. But would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So, I mean, that is one of my favorite things right now is I have partnered with David Rice, and we have a podcast. It's called Dentistry Unmasked. And the spirit of it is, you go to courses or you're in school or you're at work and you do things with your tie buttoned and, you're all professional. But then after hours, you get to talk with your friends and have a legitimate, real conversation. And the spirit of our podcast is to have that conversation. I mean, we all have these, like I said, you got to be a professional sometimes, but there's other times when we just need to rub elbows with our friends, grab a cocktail, have a conversation. And that's what this podcast is about. So we're talking about business. We've got clinical content. We've trying to pick up some hot button content as well. And, and try to have those conversations that are interesting, but, also help us all grow. So I think that so far it's been so much fun and I've enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. So I'm excited to see how this whole podcast grows and shakes out.
I am. Podcasting is fun, and y'all are doing a great job there. So I hope our listeners will also pivot that way and take a listen. I just listened to the fluoride episode, and yeah, hot button, hot topic for sure. Different way to think about practicing and to think about fluoride as well too. And I have questions, but I will circle back at a later time with those questions. But if our listeners would like to connect with you, what's the best way?
I would say probably Instagram. So my Instagram handle is Dr. Pamela _Maragliano, Maragliano. And that's probably the easiest way to find me. I'm on Facebook. Don't find me on Twitter. What is it called? X now or something? Yeah. I hate that. So I don't want that one. But if you find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, that's probably the best way to connect. I can give you my email address, but I still think that Instagram's the best.
Absolutely. And if people want to see some of the cool things that you are doing outside of dentistry, where can they find some of that content?
Oh, gosh. Outside of dentistry, I'd say probably again on Instagram, because my Instagram is kind of a jumble of everything. But I do a ton of videos on for dental economics. So go to www.dentaleconomics.com. You can even follow Dental Economics Official on Instagram and check them out as well. Most of my videos are on DE's site, but then, Dentistry Unmasked is also where it's at. So love to have you follow us there and, give us your feedback because we want to know. We want this to be a really, really great podcast.
The Pharmacology Uncovered, is that what it's called on Dental Economics?
Medical History Mysteries.
Oh, yes. Super cute concept, but the information is excellent. And Tom Viola, really, really good. So,
oh my gosh, I love Tom Viola. Yeah, that's on dentistryIQ.com. So
is
yeah.
it dentistry? Okay, my
yes.
bad. I just see you and I watch them, and that is actually really, really good as far as like pharmacology stuff kind of goes. And so,
thank you. Yeah, Tom is amazing. I just get to sit there and learn from him, so I'm fortunate to be able to do that. But yeah, no, that is super fun. Medical History Mysteries on dentistryIQ.com.
Well, Pamela, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today and with our listeners. And I think that you'll be at SmileCon, so hopefully you and I will be able to cross paths in person. Hopefully our listeners, if they're going to be in person at SmileCon as well, can find us there. And I'm sure that you're probably going around at other conferences. That's just the only one that I know that you'll be at. But please look for us at different conferences, and we would love to connect with everyone in person. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Dental Fuel. Don't forget to follow Dr. Pamela Maragliano Muniz on Instagram at drpamela_Maragliano. You can find her on her podcast with our friend Dr. David Rice at Dentistry Unmasked. You can also follow her and all her awesome content on Dentistry IQ and Dental Economics. We hope you'll tune in next week for another guest here at Dental Fuel.